Now I gotta ride or die.
So guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are taking out this BMW 116i. We're talking about you buying your second car. Maybe it is time in your life to move on from your first car. Maybe a little 1 litre, 1.2 litre Polo, just like the owner of this car has come out of. We actually shot that car for the channel for a first driving review of your first car. So today we're actually taking out his second car, and I wanted to capture this more than anything and get an idea into the younger generation out there as to what you can buy for the money. Instead of PCP, financing, anything like that, what can you buy outright these days for the money? Now this, to start with, was a £4,000 car. Now I've picked that sort of budget because I feel like if you're in full-time employment, you're 19, 20, 21, you should be able to sort of muster up hopefully the money to get something along those lines. And that's sort of where I wanted to base this video on, because again, putting a £4,000 deposit on an M140 sounds like a great idea, but there's a lot of people out there don't really want to go down the PCP and finance route. So that's what I wanted to do today's video, to really explain what you can buy in the market at the moment. So this is a £21,000 car in 2011. So it's an entry 116i. And I want to start today's video by actually going around and just showing a few things. Now it's not an M Sport model car, but I will point out that we have done a very similar car on the channel with M Sport kit on it. It is very easily available if you wanted to actually put an M Sport kit onto this car with front and rear bumpers, maybe some side skirts, little bits and bobs. But today we're working with a completely factory car, which is really nice because this is readily available in the market. Again, you only paid about £4,500 for this. I think that's about right with the 60,000 miles that are on it. Pretty entry level car, but it has the white paint with some good sized wheels, as you can see just there. Again, no M Sport car this, but you still get a lot of cool features like black surrounds in the headlights, the grills, BMW badging at the front with the smooth front. And again, this is a 2-door car, and I think they actually look proportionally really good. Again, if you don't need the back doors when you're young, why would you need it? Why would you do it? So let's go round and show you guys the back of the car. This is sort of a no thrills BMW. There isn't too much in a sense of M Performance badging or anything like that. It's just a pretty simple and more entry level, easy to obtain car this for your second car. As you can see, wearing the 116i badging just there. I feel like these look good. A 2011 car, so this is the first generation of this shape BMW 1 Series. I think it looks the part, especially for the money. We'll show you guys inside because this is where you're going to spend most of your time. Now, pretty simple interior in these. You still get this sort of leather effect or leather here on the door cards, but this one has cloth seats. They are super comfortable though, with a lot of adjustment, as you can see just there for an old man like me. And in the back, loads of room for your mates and various bits and bobs. If you do have a baby though, there is Isofix just there if needs be. You never know these days, you never know. But pretty simple interior, cloth seats. You don't have an iDrive in this one as well, so I will point out there is no iDrive in this, but that isn't necessarily a bad thing because there is a doubled in Pioneer sound system in here. Now usually the iDrives here won't necessarily have Bluetooth and various things that you will actually want, or maybe Apple CarPlay in this generation. So maybe it might be a shout to actually get one without the iDrive. You can of course change the iDrive if needs be, but this has a doubled in just down here. You have aircon and your various dials up here, but as you can see there is a lot of blank buttons in here because again, this is an entry level car. It is a 6-speed car, so I'm going to get onto the idea of this being a manual. As you can see, a manual variant, rear wheel drive for your second car. Got a little bit of cubby hole space down here with an aux in there. Obviously that will work. Well, it might still work with the Pioneer, who knows. But you have the glorious traction control off light, so you can experience what it's really like to drive a rear wheel drive car when you are younger. A couple of buttons on the steering wheel. You don't have automatic lights in this as well, so something to point out if you are after something with automatic lights. Find one with automatic lights. This one doesn't have it, but it still does have the push start button there, but you still have to put the key in just there. But I feel like as a second car, what a lovely, lovely thing to have. It's super comfortable in here, and I think it looks the part. I think for the money, say it's £4 top notch, 4.5 grand to buy one of these. So I'm going to put my 19, 20 year old's head on. We're going to get in this thing and understand what it's actually like to own this as maybe your second car after buying your first car. Everything insurance-based, cost-based for you at a young age is absolutely key here, because when I was growing up, you could insure things. I insured as a third car an Audi TT at the time in my early 20s. These days that would cost a big premium for you to do that. What do you actually get for the extra money? What do you get as your second car? And this again is a prime example. A little BMW 1 Series, 2-door hatchback, manual gearbox with rear wheel drive. It's a completely different setup to the Polo he had before. So understanding that and going back to the original video, I was talking about his first car and how it felt as a first car and what it was like. It's really nice to now get into something a little bit different, a little bit more expensive, a little bit more on the insurance, but showing that what you can get for your second car doesn't have to be boring. This is an insanely fun car for your second car. So driving Porsche. Now, I feel like this is a completely different direction for you to go as your second car. Again, rear wheel drive we're working with now rather than front wheel drive, so you're going to get that aspect of maybe going through some corners, fighting the rear end, coming out, all of the exciting things that happened from a rear wheel drive car. This of course hasn't got a diff, it hasn't got LSD, anything like that, so you're working with an open diff in this. But I do feel like jumping into a rear wheel drive car as your second car might give you a little bit of understanding of how different cars actually work. A lot of people stick to front wheel drive cars and maybe go to a 4-wheel drive car, something, you know, the Haldex system maybe, but feel like if you like cars, jump into a rear wheel drive car and see how you feel. Don't go mad in it, don't go and hurt yourself, but just see what it's like, because again, it is a completely different experience from your first car, if of course it was front wheel drive. Gearbox, a lot of people are opting for automatics these days, and I get that, but as a bit more of a purist and, you know, you're still young and you want to enjoy stuff, try and find a manual. This is a 6-speed manual in it, which feels really nice. This one's got 63,000 miles on it, and I must admit it pulls really nicely. The gearbox is tight at that sort of mileage, which again is no mileage for a car like this. And on a 2011 plate, which is what this is, it's sort of the first entry level of this generation BMW. So you're going to get a pre-facelift for this money and era. You're going to get the 116i, which is again the entry level car. There's no fancy buttons and M bits, but remember, you don't really want that when you're younger, because you're on a budget. You're on a budget and you want to make sure that you can get into a nice car like this. And sometimes iDrives and M performance parts and stuff, again, are incredibly expensive. You're going to PCP something, yeah, but if you're buying outright, the drive though, thick chunky steering wheel, although it's got cloth seats, they are super comfortable. Again, leather's cool, but it's your second car, mate. I see this car more as a bit of entry-level fun into a more luxury side of motoring, because the Polo before this was an entry-level car, complete entry-level car. Remember, it had wind-down windows, so to have electric windows, a really nice sound system, because they do from the factory. Any BMW, I feel like, from this generation does have a good sound system. It pulls fantastically. They are still powerful enough at 134 horsepower. You can map these engines if you want to, but check your insurance. Of course, you can slam this on its arse if you wanted to and put different wheels on it, but again, check your insurance beforehand. If you can't do any of that though, and you're working with the car I'm working with today, it's absolutely lovely in here. It's comfy, it's fast enough through the UK B roads, it's safe enough as well, it's new enough, still go around corners and have the traction control light up if you wanted it to. And remember, it's your second car. Like, it doesn't have to be the best of the best. I meet people that have jumped into S3s, Golf Rs, RS3s, like crazy cars for their second cars, and that's cool, but I feel like there needs to be a stepping stone, and coming from that Polo into this, it's the perfect stepping stone into this side of motoring with something that feels good to drive. It's short, rear wheel drive, manual. It's a dying breed, really. people buying this as their second car, and I know that sounds crazy, like, why are you saying that? But I meet tons of people, and they're always PCP and financing 140i's. They're buying cars that are automatics. They're trying to buy an AMG or an M performance car. Sometimes you need to hold on the brakes and say, hold on a minute, what do I actually need from a car? This was 4.5 grand, right? At 60,000 miles. It's a 21 grand car in 2011. That is a hell of a saving, and yes, that is, you know, maybe over some people's budgets, but I think that's about right. I mean, if you go to work and you're working hard and, you know, you're 19, 20, 21, hopefully you can muster up the money to get into something like this. It would be a fantastic car for your second car. So let me know in the comments what your second car was. Let me know what you were driving around as your second car. Did you have it long? Did you jump into something crazy? Did you come from something boring and mundane into something that's slightly more exotic and fun, just like this little BMW 1 Series? Let me know in the comments below. But as always, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We'll see you all on the next one.